I love the names on this team. They have Sixto Sanchez, and they have my favorite name probably in baseball right now, Jazz Chisholm.
Showing emotion in baseball is terrible and should never be in the game.
It's weird how the dynamic works between sports.
But to win a championship, not only do you need great players on the court, but you need good chemistry, which takes time to develop.
Justin Fields is a all-time talent.
Corey Perry will give some veteran presence to the Canadians.
I feel like Luka will take that next step, and if he can get a three ball consistently around 35%, I feel like they could become a contender.
We can make jokes about you not being in Super Bowl for 20-something years, but...
What's up, everyone? This is Justin Goldman from the Goalie Guild and Lift the Mask, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week. The team with the most games played right now is the New Jersey Devils with 16. So it's been a considerable amount. The lowest amount is the Rangers at 12. Same thing with Blue Jackets, but there's been some movement in some divisions. The Eastern Conference, you have the Bruins at 4, but they're tied with the Leafs and Lightning at 7. Nothing too surprising in the Metropolitan because the Capitals are 3, but the Rangers are 8 right behind them. To me, the man that I'm posing this question to, the major differences are in the Western Conference, especially in the Central Division, but then you have the Pacific Division with the Oilers at 5.
Yeah, and the Oilers have a 46.4% point percentage. The Canucks still look very good. The Kings in Vegas have been very good. But the team that's really shocked me this year is the Jets. They obviously lose Rick Bowness, but that really has not affected them. Even though they were really, really good last year, they're building on it. Their team has only allowed 30 goals, which isn't a lot, but isn't I think it's close to the lowest in the league allowed. If you go goals allowed, the only teams that are below them are the Stars at 28 and Carolina at 28. They're plus 33 is their goal differential. There's only one other team above 20, and that's Carolina at 20 plus 22, and the Jets are plus 33. They're 7-1 at home, 6-0 on the road, and they've been extremely dominant. Another team that I think you mentioned before we record that you're shocked with, I'm shocked with, is the Wild. They've really turned it around this season. I know a couple of years ago we kind of expected them to get back into the playoffs, but then it just never happened, whether because of injuries or bad goaltender play or just bad defense. They haven't been able to turn it around. But this year, at least at the start, it looks like that.
Yeah, and so I'm probably going to go the most surprising to me is the Wild, because with the Jets, even though they did lose Bonus, you have Hellebuck. So him being on a great start and helping with that defense doesn't really surprise me as much as the Wild, because I remember I was a big fan of their goaltender that I now can't remember when they played the Stars 2 years ago, and they also had a Calder winner. I think Zuccarello, he plays on the line with Zuccarello.
Are you talking about Kaprizov?
Yeah, I'm thinking of Kaprizov. And then you also have the goaltender who didn't really Philip Gustafsson, who I was really a part of, but it looks like he is not. Didn't do well last season, but it looks like he's starting to play well this season.
Yeah, and the fact that the Wild are turning it around, it kind of means bad things for the guys at the bottom right now. Nashville, a team that we expected to be good, is currently bottom of their division after making trades for Stamkos, signing Stamkos and making trades for other guys. You have Colorado at 6 in the division at a 42.9% point percentage. That's concerning. Dallas, even though they're at 3, they have the least amount of games played. They've been on a little bit of a bad stretch recently. It is a little bit concerning for those teams at the bottom because only the top 3 teams are guaranteed to get in, and after that, it's wild card. So, Dallas is 10 points down from the number 1 seed in the division. 10.
That is incredible. Another team that I wanted to mention is the Utah Hockey Club is 4th right now. And
1 point behind Dallas, even though they do have 2 more games played. But they've been good. 536 point percentage would have them in the playoffs this season and had them as the last wild card, but that's still in the playoffs. So right now they would be a playoff team, and they've really turned around since they went to Utah. I'm excited to see how they continue the season. I'm happy the team is in Utah. I feel like they're getting more love in Utah than they have been. They won as we're recording this last night, which would have been November 7th against the Blues 4-2 in St. Louis. I mean, they're playing very, very well, and I do think that they're kind of reinvigorated by being on a new team. I feel like teams can really are affected by the fans and the culture around them, and the culture has been very, very good around them to start the year. And we'll have to see if that's just a honeymoon period or if the team's really improved and been very good. Clayton Keller as their leading points getter with 13 points in 14 games. He's been extremely good. They just have a lot of guys. I mean, they have 5 guys, including Sergachev, who they traded for, with 10-plus points. So they are getting a lot of points from a lot of guys. Their goaltending has been good. And it's really just a question of can they keep it up?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I do think Utah keeps it up because I agree with you. The culture and just kind of reinvigorated with new ownership and just kind of the belief versus what was happening in Arizona. But we were talking this before, you mentioned the Avalanche and their slow start, their bottom 3. I do think they figure it out. And to me, they get that spot because I feel like the Wild they're riding a high right now, but I think they fall down too a little bit. I don't really trust in the Wild. It's pretty surprising with the Jets that they look to be a sustained team. They've competed for the playoff spot and been a leader in the Central Division for the past 3 years, ever since Bonus came back, and now they look to keep the winning ways even after Bonus has retired.
Yeah, and I think that really shows how well they were coached and how easily you could sometimes seamlessly change between coaches. They were a great team last year, and Bonus didn't leave because the team was bad or anything. He just wanted to retire. So the team has really improved. Another couple teams that I want to talk about, Carolina Hurricanes. I mean, they're a known good team. We expected them to be title contenders. They were on our Stanley Cup or bust. They're the best team in the by points percentage in the East. They only have 20 points, and they're technically tied with the Devils, but the Devils have 4 more games played. So it's been a great year for them. They're 10-2 on the season. They have, like I said, a plus 22 goal differential. Some other teams to talk about. I mean, Boston, they have 15 points in 15 games. They've been okay, but I think they're just turning around now. Their offense has not been as good as I think a lot of people expected. And I mean, we talked about Nashville, but Kevin, Nashville has the worst points percentage in the NHL. Worse than the Sharks, worse than the Ducks, worse than the Columbus Blue Jackets, worse than the Canadiens.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been bad. And that's crazy because I still believe they have an easily top 5 goalie, if not higher than that.
Yeah, and they were a team that invested in offense. They were playing better last year, and they went out and spent a lot of money, and it has not turned out for them. And maybe they figure it out. I wouldn't be shocked because it is a team with a lot of moving parts. You did mention their goalie, but in front of them, there are a lot of moving parts. So that could be the reason with their slow start. They're all figuring it out together. But you have a team like the Stars who I think could be figuring out, but I wouldn't be surprised just how we talked about them before the season. Then you have the Avalanche. So it's going to be tough for the Predators to dig out of this hole, especially if the Jets keep it up.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard. I mean, if we're just comparing those two teams, the Jets and the Predators are not even remotely close to each other. So if the Predators, it would have to take a really big fall from Winnipeg. I mean, Winnipeg has 29 points. That's 15 more points than the Predators. 15. In the same amount of games. They both played 14 games. To put that in perspective, the 15 points is as many points as Utah, who is in a playoff spot right now. So the difference between first and last in this division is the same as a playoff team. So that shows you how bad the Predators have been and also how great the Jets have been in their 14 games.
Yeah, so I would say overall an impressive start to the season, something we didn't expect in the West. East, something more similar we expected, but I would say it's off to a great start, especially have some feel-good stories with Utah, especially the Kings are second right now. And we'll just have to see what else happens. And I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please let us know what you guys have been thinking about the NHL. It's after the first month. First month's over. How's it gone? Do you guys think that the trends will continue, or what will happen? Thank you again.